Today is October 17th, 2020. Here to bring my little story. Stories with Stu. Last week we talked about what is your why. And what I'm talking about is why do some people respond to a certain life event one way, another group responds totally different. And I used the illustration of my 5 grandchildren versus 5 children who don't know me. And this past week we were in California, and I was privileged to ride around with a 77-year-old gentleman and had a lot of life experiences. And I just want to share one of them here. It was very fascinating to me. He was farming, moving dirt, and to add some income in the off season, he was driving mobile homes, motorhomes. And this is years and years and years ago. And somehow he said, my name got put on the list of commercial drivers. He said, I got a phone call and they said, would you move a crane? And he said, what does it pay? And they said, $500. And where does it from? Where's it coming from? They said the Bay Area, San Francisco, going down to LA. $500. Wow, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I'll move it. All right. So he had a life event. He had an opportunity, which we all get opportunities. We all have life events. And so he called his wife. He said, I'm not going to be home tonight. I got some equipment to move. Took a bus down to San Francisco, took a taxi over there, and he said immediately, I wished I wouldn't have said yes to that job. The crane was huge. He's never driven a crane before. 3 steerable front axles, 14 feet wide. Over height, over weight, over length, but he said, I told him I'd do it, and they were desperate, and so I did it. And he said I had a sheaf of paperwork this big, and he said I didn't even know if it could go under the Bay Bridge, but the paperwork said it would. So he started it, and while it was building up the air, he was figuring out how to operate this thing. He had never driven a crane in his life, and it was evening, which was probably a good thing. The roads weren't as busy. And he took off and drove that crane all the way from San Francisco down to LA at night with one headlight, over width, over length, over weight, over height, and he made it. All right, now not everyone would do that. So he had a different why than you or I might have had. We might have got there and said, our why would have said, no, we can't do this. Absolutely will not. This is way beyond my comfort zone. And so what I've done today is I'm up here at the office. I got to go to work, but I told the guy I'd be in a little late, and he said no problem. And I don't have to go to work. I'm choosing to go to work. I sold my business to my youngest son, but part of my why is I want to add value to people. And so today I'm going to add value to him, but first I'm hopefully going to add value to some of you. So today I created a little deal here, and if this circle represents all knowledge, then I want to know how big is the slice that you have. Here's the stuff that I know, and here's the stuff that I don't know. And I don't even know what I don't know. Now, this man that I told you about, he didn't know how big that crane was going to be. He didn't know how to drive it, but he increased his wedge of what he knew because he was willing to get out of his comfort zone. And so today we're going to talk about we have to take personal responsibility, because even of the stuff that I know, what portion of it is true and what portion of it is untrue? We say, well, everything that I know is true. Well, not necessarily, because you have changed your mind before. You have said, oh, I guess that's, I listened to somebody and they were misinformed and they misrepresented it or took this out of context, and I believed them, and now I can see that that's not true. And so I have to let go of the stuff that isn't true so that I can bring in the stuff that's true. All right, so then we already talked about comfort zone. Comfort zone is a big deterrent Everybody wants to stay in their comfort zone. And ego, if I already think I know something, then I'm not going to be as interested in learning something new. Because, hey, I already know it. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the smaller this little wedge is, if it's just this wedge here, those type of people are much more pragmatic about believing that what I know is true, because that's all they know. So it has to be true, right? So I made this little one, but I also made it as an illustration of how you can increase, when you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, you can increase your range of what you know. And so we have what we call an aha moment, and it increases what we know. Now, another thing that affects how much we know is, am I willing to listen to somebody else? So we have the two viewpoints. We've got this person has this viewpoint, this person has this viewpoint, and we can see there's some overlap there. Am I willing to give them respect and consideration for their viewpoint? This is my viewpoint. It overlaps with their viewpoint, so we agree in this area. But will I consider this area? Will I say, you know, maybe I don't know, maybe they know something that I don't know. And when we begin to open our mind to that, and this is my truth, and it doesn't have to be the same as their truth, then when we can say, well, I disagree with you, but I respect you, then we've already opened our mind to the fact that this could be my area of life, the sliver of knowledge that I'm supposed to have, and this could be theirs. Now, typically, we want to stay in with this group of people who believe like I believe. How about, would you be willing to get to the point where their line was here? You only have a small amount of things that you believe in. Otherwise, your belief system is totally different than their belief system. Would you be willing to explore that to increase your wedge of knowledge, your wedge of awareness, I should say? And so, probably the last one here is, this is how we change our why, and it's a difficult process. It's not easy. So let's just recap this a little bit. If we're going to change our why, we're going to have to let go of our ego. We're going to have to get out of our comfort zone. We're going to have to realize that the sliver of knowledge that I have becomes my belief system. And we have to start questioning, is everything in my belief system true, or is there some untrue things in my belief system? We have to let go of the things that are untrue so that we can change our mode of operation. And what proves our mode of operation is what we do. We can say, this is what I believe I love you, I respect you, but then I totally, my impact on you is totally different than that. That's what's called a blind spot, and we all have blind spots. So then what I need is feedback, because I've told you I love you and I respect you, but the impact that I have on you is something totally different. So then if I let go of my ego and you say, but it doesn't feel like love and respect. It feels like you're disrespecting me and you don't love me. So feedback is essential for changing my why. Do I allow other people to give me feedback? Do I consider? Do I respect their feedback? Am I willing to let go of the untruth? Because we're all very capable of telling ourselves lies, of believing lies. Am I willing to let go of that and say, oh, I didn't realize that. I thought my intent was good, but my impact was bad. And so I need to change the effort that I'm putting forth so that I get a different result. And so another thing we need to recognize that our ego is always an enemy. It's always an enemy. If I think I know, I'm not going to learn. It's just not going to happen. And so do I honestly consider and respect another person's point of view? And that's essential for changing your why. And by changing your why you respond and react to a life event the way you do. And so these are some of the things that you want to consider. What is my reality? Stop and ask yourself, what is my reality? Am I happy in my reality, or do I wish my reality would change? Not only what is my reality, but how's it working for me? Is it working well? Am I having success? Am I happy? Am I at peace? Am I moving forward in my life? Am I gaining a bigger slice of understanding and awareness? And then the last point, and I didn't touch on this earlier, but because I'm a person of faith, I believe that because I didn't create myself, I must be created. And if I'm created, I must have a creator. And if I have a creator, he must have a purpose for me. And so if I can make a connection with my creator and find out what my purpose is, then that I can look to my creator for the understanding that I need to fill my purpose. Do I need to know the whole circle of knowledge? No, I don't need to know that. I need to know enough to fill my purpose. So when I connect with my creator on a regular basis, I can expect to get more insight and more inspiration. And when we have insight and inspiration, we have enthusiasm. And when we have enthusiasm for life, we have more enjoyment. And we begin to experience a fulfillment. And when we have fulfillment, we realize I'm enough. I don't have to chase after a lot of stuff. I can just fill the little spot that I have. For me, I do my little story on Saturday. I add value to people wherever it is. Today it happens to be driving truck for my son. Tomorrow it might be something else. But my why is that I want to add value to people. And so when you know what your why is, it guides your decision. Now your why is going to be totally different than mine because you are a different person. You're created for a different purpose. So today, think about your why. Think about, am I fulfilling the purpose that I was created for? Because when you find and fulfill your purpose, you are a success. Thank you. Have a good day.